In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get your first parallel dip. There's going to be a few exercises that you can choose from, but I suggest you do it in this order. The first one is called the band assisted dip. You're going to be using a thin resistance band, so you're going to pick a size that will allow you to be able to do 3 to 5 reps comfortably. So I'm using a thin one, which is about 15 kilos or around 30 pounds. And I'm going to strap it across the P-bars, and then we're going to grip on top of the band with both of my hand parallel to each other and thumb wrapped under and around the bar. I'm going to keep my knees stacked directly underneath my hips. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, squeeze my quads, squeeze my core, shrugging my shoulders down. And then I'm going to bend my elbows and slowly lower down until my triceps are parallel to the ground. Once I'm here, then I'm going to drive through my palms by flexing my triceps and then come back up to the starting position. So this is what a good form looks like. Now, what does a bad form look like? Well, first of all, your knees and your feet are not glued together. The reason we keep them stuck together is to keep your body nice and balanced. If your legs are relaxed and they're dangling everywhere, it's gonna cause you to lean sideways when pushing up, especially on the last rep or two, which can cause muscular imbalance because you're gonna be pushing more with one side. So by keeping your feet and your knees together, everything will be stacked, everything will be compact, and therefore you'll get the most out of this exercise. So do this between 3 to 5 reps for 3 sets initially, and make sure to keep your shoulders shrugged down. Do not elevate them, as this could cause injury down the line. Moving on to the next exercise, we have got negative dips. So by working on the eccentric part, so lowering down, this is going to help to build up strength in your triceps, in your front shoulders, and in your chest muscles. Develop them enough so that you'll be able to do your first dip unassisted. The setup for this is pretty simple. You're going to get on top of the parallel bars with your feet ideally stacked underneath your knees and your hips, glutes engaged. If you ain't got no space underneath, you can bend your knees, that's completely fine. And the same procedure applies, so you're gonna bend your elbows, lower down slowly until your triceps are parallel to the ground. I like to come down at a count of 3 seconds at least, so really use your muscles to resist in this eccentric contraction. As you get to the bottom, pause for about a second just to make sure that you've got that control, and then you can reset. So the typical rep range for this is between 2 to 5 reps for 3 sets. And as you come down, you want to keep your elbows tucked in close to your torso rather than flaring them out, because otherwise you could be putting your shoulders and your rotator cuffs in an impingement position, which could cause injury down the line. So keep everything nice and stacked, shoulders shrugged down, elbows tucked in close to your torso, core tight, glutes tight, and come down in a slow and controlled pace. And you only need to come down until your triceps are parallel to the ground. Any lower, this could cause shoulders injury, so make sure you come down with precaution and with control. Moving on to the next progression, we're gonna add in a bottom dip hold at the end of the negative. So the same procedure applies as a negative dip, but then once we get to the bottom position, we're going to add in isometric contraction, which is pretty much you're engaging your muscles without any lengthening or shortening it. So we're going to hold this position for 3 to 10 seconds after doing your last rep of the negative dips. For example, one set could be 2 negative dips, and then on the last rep, you're going to add a bottom dip hold for 5 seconds. So you can come down at the count of 3. On the last rep, then you're gonna hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then that's it, done. You rest. So typically we're gonna rest between a minute to a minute and a half so that you're fully prepared for the next set. And this is one of my favorite exercises because it works on the eccentric, so the lowering phase, and the isometric. And if you get strong at both of these contractions, then the concentric, so when the muscles are lengthened, so the push-up phase of the dip is going to be much more easier to do. Moving on to the next progressions are more like accessories, because anyone can do this progression. It's super simple and you can modify it any way you want. We're going to do bench dips. Pretty much you're going to use an elevated surface such as a bench or a chair, and you're going to grip on that using a bench or a chair. I've got a little bench here, so I'm going to place my palms on top, keeping my elbows tucked in close to my torso, and I'm going to bend my knees. This is the easiest variation, so I'm going to show you the harder one shortly. I'm going to take a few steps forward so that my butt is coming off of the chair, And what I'm going to do is going to lower down until my triceps are parallel to the ground while keeping my core tight, and then push back up by driving my palms down into the ground. Notice how I'm using mainly my upper body muscles to push up, not my legs. So you have a tendency to use your legs to help push yourself up, but I want you to switch off your lower body. Try to drive from the bottom of your palms so then you can extend and push on top. Also keep your shoulders shrugged down and keep them elbows tucked in close to your torso. We're going to do about 10 to 20 reps for 3 sets for this progression. And once you know that you can do 20 reps comfortably, then you can extend your legs by flexing your quadriceps, tensing your glutes, and keeping your knees locked out. Do not bend them. This is going to be a little bit more harder now because more weight is going to be transferred into your triceps, your chest, your shoulders. Therefore, it's going to make this movement harder. So the same procedure apply. Come down until elbows are 90 degrees, triceps parallel to the ground. Drive the palms into the surface, come back up, and then you're going to repeat. You can make this a lot harder by reducing the speed. So you can come down at the count of 2 seconds, or perhaps going up at a count of 2 seconds. Completely up to you, but we're going to do this between 10 to 20 reps for 3 sets. Notice here how the first 3 progressions are like the most important ones. So I would do those 3 in that order. And then in the third one, these are just accessories to help you build up the foundations even further. And now we're moving on to the final exercise, which is push-ups are the staple of all calisthenics exercise. Usually push-ups, dips, and pull-ups. But if you have good push-ups, you'll notice that you'll be able to do a single parallel dip or 2. Now, if you cannot do any dip, it shows that you have weak pushing power. So push-ups is a great way to build up your form and strength towards that. So we're going to get into a plank position with your shoulders stacked on top of your wrists, core and glutes engaged, feet together. And notice here I'm in a straight slope. There's no arching in my lower back because I'm pulling my belly button in towards the spine to create that posterior pelvic tilt. And then as I lower down, I'm going to keep my elbows close to my torso rather than flaring them out. Lower down until my triceps are parallel to the ground, and then push back up, squeeze my chest at the top to get that extra activation, and then repeat. So the breathing process is that as I go down, so in the eccentric, I like to inhale, and then as I go up, I like to exhale. So if you're repping this out, you're going to be breathing pretty fast. But if you get the breathing right, this is going to help you to be able to perform your reps much more effectively. So do your push-ups for about 5 to 10 reps for 3 sets. And if you can't do any push-ups, then you can just drop down to doing knee push-ups. So by placing your knees into the ground, this is going to take your load away from your upper body muscles, therefore allowing you to do more reps. So try to keep your core tight, your legs straight, and then do the same procedure. And do this between 5 to 10 reps until you get strong enough to be able to do normal push-ups. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you do find value in this. And if you do, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe so that you can be notified for more videos like this. And if you'd like to be personally coached by me, I'll leave a link to the level up form down below. So fill that out and then I'll be in contact with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.